guys.
Good morning, Miles Per Hour crew. We got Patrick on the camera again. Thank you, Patrick. And we have the Polestar 2 for you. This is the 21 model year, not the 22. We can talk about the changes for 22. Sorry, there's some leaf blowing going on in the background. That's not gonna last forever. But thank you guys so much for joining this morning, especially you folks who are tuned in live. We're gonna answer your questions first, but we're also gonna filter in some questions that were asked on Instagram. That's at Miles Per Hour, and YouTube's community page. If you want to follow me there on Instagram and TikTok, they're both at Miles Per Hour. And I want to first thank the folks who are going to super chat in this video. Yes, I'm kind of presuming here, but anyone who super chats, we're going to prioritize your question. So thank you guys so much for tuned in and who are supporting the channel via super chat or Patreon. That's also Miles Per Hour, or YouTube's channel membership. So guys, what do you want to know about the Polestar 2?
First question already. This or the Model 3?
Yeah, I knew this was going to happen. So, the vehicle's most direct competitor is the Model 3. And I'm not going to have a full in-depth review of the Polestar. So I will wait for I'll give you like kind of final verdict at the end about this versus Model 3. But we can talk about the two, how they compare. So the Polestar 2 for 21 is only offered in a launch edition, which was $61,400. This one is $62,400 because it's painted in this thunder gray metallic paint, which I really like. This color is really cool. It's like a grayish slate with the metallic flake in it. It's pretty neat. So $62,400, that already pushes you up to the most expensive Model 3. Actually, the more expensive than the most expensive Model 3. Most expensive Model 3 is $56,000, I believe, for the Model 3 Performance. The long-range Model 3 has more range than this at 352 or 354 miles. This one, for 21, has 233 miles, so a lot less. But for 22, it's gonna have 249 miles in the dual motor setup. And for 22, there's a new entry-level front-wheel drive version that's gonna have 265 miles. So getting closer, but still very far off the Model 3's range pace. Acceleration, this, they say, car driver got 4.1 seconds to 60. The Model 3 is even quicker at just in the 3.1 second range. So that's kind of just the comparison between the two, but we'll get into kind of like my verdict on which one I would choose at the end.
Questions from Instagram. What are the differences between Polestar and Volvo? Cashman asked.
Okay, that's a great question, Cashman. So Volvo, you're gonna see a lot of Volvo's signature design traits, like the Thor's hammer daytime running lights. Like that's classic Volvo. The wheel designs look very Volvo. The interior, kind of the fit and finish, looks very Volvo. And even some of the shapes, some of the styling details, like this kind of C-pillar shape, it's all very Volvo. And the reason for that is because Volvo owns Polestar, and Polestar grew out of Volvo as their electric performance brand. So Polestar is only going to make electric vehicles, whereas Volvo has internal combustion cars. They're moving towards a fully electric lineup, as in plug-in hybrid options and all-electric options. They've got the XC40 that's all electric. So it's going to be kind of a fine line between the two brands as Volvo and other automakers become more all-electric. But the Polestar brand is going to kind of be more focused on the performance end of the electric brand. So that's the difference.
Grady asks, how's the interior quality?
Interior quality is good. We can show you some of the interior. Show you the back seats first. Shadows might be kind of harsh. Should we shoot from this direction, maybe? So first off, the seats. I wanted to say Volvo. Now, Polestar calls these seats Weavetech, and they're a vegan, quote-unquote vegan alternative to leather. You can get Nappa leather in the Polestar 2, but you have to pay extra for it, which is somewhat odd to me because I feel like that's sort of like a typical luxury thing, and Polestar, certainly with the price point, is trying to be luxury, so that's peculiar to me. But these seats are Weavetech, so they're basically just fabric, but different types of fabric. They feel okay. There's this thick carpeting that I enjoy in the center tunnel area and in the trunk area. The air vents feel really solid. You've got lots of tech and convenience features back here. The front is really cool though. And by the way, the moment your butt hits the cushion as the driver, the screens are going to come on. So we've got this big center screen here, and it looks a bit like it's floating, but I think it's well integrated with the design in here. We've got open pore wood trim. There's this cool fabric material covering this area here, and we've got the Harman Kardon premium surround sound system. There is some piano gloss black, which if you know this channel, you know I'm not a fan. But we've got it here in the center, some places on the steering wheel. My biggest issue with piano gloss black, if you don't know, is that it scratches and smudges. So this car only has 5,000 miles, and there are already scratches on it all over the place, and dust just collects. It's like a magnet. So you're constantly having to wipe things down. They do give you a Polestar branded cloth to wipe things down. So that's mostly for the screen, but I end up using it on the piano black too, just to clean things up. But it's just like, this is just a labor to have to clean up the piano gloss black all the time. But the fit and finish, to fully answer your question, is good. Certainly better than, I think, competing Tesla products, which constantly have like very big panel gaps. I think someone else also asked for the creak test. It might have been the same person. Cameron asked for the creak test. So here we go.
Solid.
Whoa. Okay, there are very minor creaks here on the piano gloss black center area, and now I have to wipe it off again because of my smudges. But pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna say it passes the creak test. What's our next question?
Next question is by Hayden. Asks, what kind of road range have you been seeing? Charts, times, stuff like that.
All right, so Hayden's asking about the real world range. So the dual motor Polestar 2 for 21 has 233 miles of range, although for the 22 model year, they're going to push the software update that will give it 240 miles of range. If you had added on the heat pump, you would have 249 miles, but we've got 233 in this one. I've been seeing about 92% of that range. So I would say maybe I'm getting 205 miles of range out of the 233 EPA estimate. And that's driving kind of just like daily driving. If I really was to push it, I think I'd probably get 180 miles out of the 233 mile estimate. Still going to be plenty for the average person, and you're still going to be able to plug into a 110 or 220. If you plug into a 220, it's going to be charged up fully overnight. 110, it's going to take 22 hours, so really just use that for kind of like backup.
Okay, another question. Socialist asks, range compared to a Tesla Model 3.
Yeah, so we kind of discussed that a little bit in the beginning. So the longest range version of the Polestar 2 that's coming for 22 is going to have 265 miles of range. The longest range Tesla Model 3 has over 350 miles, so almost 100 miles more in the Tesla Model 3 long range versus Polestar 2 long range.
Ritz asked horsepower.
Horsepower. So the horsepower of the dual motor one that we have here is 402 with 487 pound-feet of torque. That's from two motors, the same motors, making 201 horsepower in the front and rear. If you go for the longer range 22 model that's coming, it's going to make, cannot remember the power off the top of my head. It's something like, I mean, it's probably just going to be half that. It's going to be about 200, but I think they tune it up a little more, just over 200 horsepower for the single motor. So let's peek around the back and crawl around more.
Kevin R. asked, does it have autopilot?
It doesn't have, well, so autopilot is Tesla's technology. They have the pilot assist technology as standard in this launch edition version, and that's going to mean that, yes, it has lane centering assistance, so it's steering assistance. It's not just lane keep assist, and adaptive cruise control. But unlike the Tesla system, you can't keep your hands off the wheel for very long. If you watch my drive impressions video and my test drive and the night drive, all of which are coming on this vehicle, it's basically like 10 seconds.
Kevin R. asked as well, does it have self-driving?
Yeah, so that's the same thing. The autopilot, that's the self-driving, that's all the same thing. No, it doesn't have full self-driving. It has features that help you drive. If you weren't paying attention for a second, then it'll keep you centered in the lane. You can't just take your hands off the wheel and let the car do its thing.
Harsh said hello.
Hello, Art.
Even as does it have a front and a trunk.
So it definitely has a trunk. It also has a front. I'll show you the front first. This took me the longest time to find. The front lever is actually way over here to the right. And there's not a ton of space. There's 1 cubic foot, technically, but it's just enough for you to fit the charging cables for home plugs or for 220 outlets. This one can do DC fast charging as well. 150 kilowatts will get you from 0 to 80% in just 40 minutes, so it's pretty quick. So that's the front. I'll show you the trunk. Close that, there we go. The trunk, I hoped the leaf blowing would be over by now, but guys, it's not.
Sorry.
So it has a hatch design in the gym bag as usual, but I wanted to leave this here just to kind of demo the reconfigurability of the trunk. So they have this panel that comes up, and it has a strap on it, so you can keep cargo secure here without having it kind of go all over the place, and you can partition the trunk this way. So you can have cargo behind, here, why don't you come up close to kind of just show this. So you can have cargo behind there, or you can have it in front like
cool.
this, which is pretty cool. And then of course, if you don't want it, I'll take this out. You can just close this up. And this also has some hooks for bags and things like that. Then below the trunk, you've got another basin where you could fit, I mean, it's pretty deep, so you can fit more stuff there. That's the benefit of EVs. Don't have as many components. I think on average it's like 40% fewer components than a normal ICE car. And then you've got straps all around it. It's 14 cubic feet of space in total. But it's a pretty useful trunk, and the hatchback design really helps with the additional space. Compared to like a Model 3 that's just a standard trunk, this is more Model Y in terms of the utility.
Kevin RS, let's hear the horn and panic alarm.
Okay, we can do that. We'll do the panic alarm first. What's that?
I feel like telling the guy go somewhere else real quick.
Well, it looks like he's almost done. All right, so panic. On the key, it's here. We have to lock the car first. There it is. That's the panic. The horn, go ahead towards the front. The whole time, guys, what you've been hearing is the sound of the Polestar 2. It sounds a lot like a leaf blower, but in fact, that's the horn sound.
That's pretty loud.
Yeah.
Super high pitch.
Yeah, high pitch, but I mean, it just sounds like a horn, right? It doesn't sound like a weird electric car horn.
Okay, another question from Instagram questions.
Anything else coming in live? No?
Let's see. You are psycho ass overall performance.
Yeah, so we can talk about more specs, and in my drive impressions, I'll have more information about like my impressions on the performance. But 402 horsepower, 487 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60. They say 4.5 seconds. Car and Driver got 4.1. I believe Car and Driver's test because this feels really quick. It feels like a low second, 0 to 60. So the performance is really very good, especially if you're, if you're coming out of a typical ICE car, the instant thrust that you get from an EV is very fun. It's intoxicating. And in this one, with the dual motor setup, there's no loss of traction anywhere. You just get moving, and so it's really fun. We'll get more into that as we drive it. Which
Kevin asks, what is the tire size?
Tire size 245 section at all four corners, and these are on Michelin Primacies. 19-inch wheels. You can upgrade to 20-inch wheels if you get the performance pack. And the performance pack comes with other stuff, Öhlins dampers, and the better wheels, better tires, better brakes. Get Brembo brakes.
Richard Nixon asks, what is the range?
The range of this dual motor one for 21 model year is 233 miles. For 22, that's bumped up to, 249 miles thanks to a new heat pump and some other tweaks that they make.
Okay, another question from Instagram. Legroom. from Kevin. He's 6'6".
Okay. So yeah, the legroom up front is going to be just fine for you. Headroom is acceptable. I found that like I could lower the seat reasonably. Depends how your body's split, Kevin, with the 6'6". You got a long torso, you got long legs. Sounds like you're worried about legroom, so legs might be the issue. You're going to be fine here. You can slide the seat back as far as you need. In the rear, so this is me, it's 6 feet tall. Sitting behind my own drive position. See, I fit pretty easily here, so I got maybe 3.5 inches. So you at 6'6" might be tight. My head barely clears the roof. It's kind of like
Gonna hit your head
it's
too.
scraping there. But the foot pockets are nice, so you can probably decrease that knee angle. You maybe slap forward a little bit. If your head's an issue, if your legs are an issue, you're just going to sit really upright. But I would say if you're at 6'6" in the back, hope that you've got a 5-foot front passenger.
Another question from Instagram. Pedram asks, interior quality compared to the Model 3.
So we showed that a little bit. It's actually a great. Let's transition to the drive. So even though now, of course, it's quiet, we did the whole exterior while it was loud, and now it's quiet. Slide in front of me. But we can talk interior quality as we're out moving. So there is no start-stop button or anything like that. You're just going to get in, and when it detects that your butt's in the cushion and your seatbelt's on, you can then just pull the drive selector down to go to drive or up to reverse. So I pull it back down to drive, and now we're moving. The interior quality compared to a Model 3, I think it's vastly better, really. The design, there's actual design here. It's not just a screen thrown on the dashboard and calling it a day. There's real design to this cabin. The material diversity is very nice. So it's nice seeing fabrics, woods, plastics, metals. There's all sorts of different details in the cabin. And it feels like you're in a transitional vehicle. Instead of Tesla, I realized they were trying to like, maybe, at least they say this, instead of maybe saying that they wanted to, under design it. They were like, oh, minimalist, future, just screen on the display and pedals, and that's all you need. This is helping people move into the next phase by giving them some familiarity of like a dashboard. You've got a digital gauge cluster, then you have an infotainment, and then you have a drive selector. So kind of it's a merging of things, and I think that the interior, both design and quality, are better than Tesla vehicles.
Kevin R. asking good questions. Does it have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto?
It does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So this operating system is actually from Google, and so it's their Android operating system. So it's not just having Android Auto, it's having the Android operating system. So the native navigation system, for example, is Google Maps. And this is really, really cool. So good to use. It's really responsive. The whole system itself is very intuitive. Like your climate controls are down here. You can expand them at any time. You can drag this down and access certain menus and customizations and hotkeys. Then you've got these tiled design up here. And for vehicle settings, so I have it set up with the steering feel. You can have 3 settings for that. So I have it in standard steering feel. And one pedal driving I have also in standard, which is going to be their most aggressive braking regeneration. And creep, I have it as off. So that's basically like when I come up to a light, I take my foot off, it's not gonna creep forward. It's basically like an auto hold on a normal vehicle. So those are the settings I have configured here, but the infotainment is really nice to use. And yes, it still has Apple CarPlay, even though it is a Google operating system.
Tuxedo Black Cat asks, is it an easy car to drive?
Oh yeah, we knew that was coming. Tuxedo Black Cat, it is a very easy car to drive. So you can set it up where it's gonna feel just like a normal ICE car by having the one pedal drive on either off or low, and that you're not gonna have to get used to when you take your foot off the gas, it's slowing the car automatically. The steering feel, you can have it light or standard, that's gonna feel like a normal car. You can have creep on or off, whether you have an ICE with auto hold or not. It's very easy to drive. The visibility is pretty good out the front. Out the back, it's pretty narrow. So you got that thin glass piece, and with the headrests like they are, you can't see out of the back all too well, So you're relying on the standard blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic and all those different aids that you get in the Polestar 2.
Greetings from Colombia. Eric
Hello.
David.
Who said that?
Eric David.
Eric David. Greetings. Thank you for joining us.
You could say that. I think the Tesla's quieter, no?
No, that's the thing. Because I think it comes down to a build quality thing. This feels like a better, more solidly built vehicle than the Tesla. And because of that, there's not as much wind and road noise than I think the equivalent Tesla vehicles. However, the Model 3 is among the best produced Tesla vehicles, as in like their quality control on the Model 3 is much better than, in my experience, on the Model X, for example. The Model X, everyone I've driven has been like, there's been a ton of creaks and rattles, misaligned panels, and wind noise, therefore, is a ton. Whereas the Model 3 is much more solidly built. This, I would argue, is even more solidly built.
Kevin R. asks, when it's safe to do this, the brake test.
Brake test, yeah. Yeah, when there's a red light up there, so I'll try to give you a brake test up there. And I'm also, to do that, I'm going to take off the one pedal drive up the light screen now. So we're not going to do the brake test right now, but when we do have an opportunity, I'll turn off one pedal drive, which means it's just like a coast. So you take that off and it basically just lets the vehicle roll forward. What do you think about the seat comfort, Patrick?
Could be better.
Could be better.
Yeah.
I feel like the Nappa leather would definitely help.
Yeah.
Right? You were dealing with fabric seats and it just kind of feels wrong in a $62,000 vehicle as tested.
Gerald Matthews asked, hello, how's the range?
The range is good. Earlier in the video, I give you the full briefing on that. I'll just give you the quick and dirty on this one. 233 miles for the 2021 model year.
Kevin, yeah, you're correct. If there were Nappa, I think they would be much comfortable.
Yeah, more comfortable. I mean, the padding's okay. It's just hard to tell quite how comfortable they would be with a rougher material like what we're dealing with here. I do have thigh support on mine, which is nice. Do you have thigh support on here? No, you don't have extendable thigh support. You do have a power operated seat, which is, I guess, good, but that's sort of to be expected again at this price point.
That's cool. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so there's a Polestar logo here, and there's another one. I don't know if you can see it, but it's up here.
Oh, yeah, I do see it.
Yeah, and that really shows up at night best.
Yeah.
And it's a tinted glass roof, so so it doesn't bring in the brightest, harshest sun. That was a mid-range, just putting your foot in it, and it picks up speed really quickly.
Kevin asked, does it have a heated seat and cool seats?
Heated seats in the front and rear, no cooled seats. A miss, I think. I think it should have cooled seats.
For 62,000?
For 62 grand and in this fully loaded model. But because of the weight being so low down, it handles very well.
It handles really well.
It handles really well.
Yeah, wow.
It's extremely stable through corners.
Yeah, Kevin, no cool seats, and it's hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
So I'll give you a bit of the driving assistance features. I'm just going to engage that now and turn on pilot assist. So here, I've got my hands hovering outside the wheel. We'll see how long it'll let me go before I have to chime in. It's been about 5 seconds, 6. It wants me to hold the steering wheel right now. 8, 9, 10. 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
About 10 seconds before it gets upset that it wants you to hold the wheel. So it's certainly not something where it's expecting you to keep your hands off the wheel for long at all. It doesn't want you to do it.
Asked, where's the brand from? United States?
No. So Polestar and Volvo are a Swedish brand owned by a Chinese subsidiary. So it's a holding company from China that owns Polestar.
Yeah. Ethan, you're correct, from Sweden.
Yes, it is a Swedish brand. There's a Volvo right there, a sister to any Polestar vehicle.
I'm surprised no one has asked about the electricity to how to plug in.
Yeah, so I mean, I went over that data a little bit in the beginning, but I'll share it again, and that is that you can charge up at your regular 110 household outlet if you want to. It's just going to take a long time. It's going to take 22 hours to fully replenish the battery. Whereas if you have a 220 outlet, which a lot of people who are getting electric vehicles are upgrading, 220 is what you would use for a washer and dryer, but they can set it up for an EV specifically, and that's going to give you overnight a full charge. 8 hours is what they quote you. So that, I mean, that's going to be ideal for most people who are planning on draining their battery during the day. If you're just using a bit of range, then you can just top off with a 110 outlet overnight. If you have access to a fast charger, DC fast charging, 150 kilowatts will give you 80% of your range, from 0 to 80% in just 40 minutes.
Tuxedo Black Cat asked, do you feel like it's like a Tesla?
Do I feel like it's like a Tesla? Only in the fact that it's electric.
Electric, yeah, and it doesn't feel like a Tesla.
No, so I mean, it doesn't look like a Tesla. I think that the fit and finish, as I already said, is better than a Tesla. The driving assistance systems aren't nearly as sophisticated as Tesla's. The range isn't nearly as sophisticated. The acceleration isn't quite as robust as the dual motor Teslas. So, I mean, there are very many differences between this and a Tesla. It's sort of like, I understand the comparison, but there's going to be many, many more of these electric vehicles, and it's going to be like saying, hey, is that Ford F-150 like a Chevy Silverado? Yeah, yes, in that they're both pickup trucks, but there are going to be very, very many differences, so every EV is not going to feel the same.
Kevin R., it does sound pretty quiet, I feel.
Yeah, it's quiet. There's good insulation in this cabin from the wind and road noise.
Very quiet. Let's see. Mufasa saying hello from Brazil.
Hello, Mufasa. Thanks for joining us.
Beautiful day today.
Yeah, gorgeous. Have you guys missed this loop? Because we haven't done a live Q&A in this loop in a while. I haven't done a drive of this loop in a while.
Oh, someone asked, how do you feel about the Q electric from Mercedes Q?
So the EQ vehicles, I've seen better looking cars. Let's put it that way. I've seen better looking cars. Only the EQG is the only good looking one. I don't know how I feel about the square tire carrier in the back, but that's the only one that I think looks good. Their EQ products aren't my favorite to look at, but to drive, I haven't driven any of them yet. I'm hoping to get in the EQS at some point, and then I'll give you more impressions on that.
Ethan asked, does it have Alexa voice command?
It does. It actually has a Google Assistant built in, so you can say, "Hey Google,
Oh, cool.
I'm feeling warm."
What should I do to keep you cool?
Lower the temperature. Or not. What? Everything has a joke, right? Which is good, not incredible, but good. I would say I'd expect this out of a vehicle of this size.
Tuxedo Black Cat, I want to hear the horn. I'm not sure if you
I did the horn here. I can do a braking test. We asked about
yeah.
that, right? You ready? There we go. Let's get those folks there. So the brakes are good. Brakes are good. And this is not the Performance Pack Brembo brakes. So the braking is very admirable in this standard setup.
They grip.
Yeah, they got good grip. We can do we'll do a quick launch out of here too. I'll put the electronic stability control in sport mode.
No, Kevin, I don't think it's buffering. I think it just didn't pick it up.
Yeah, just for whatever reason it cut out.
Yeah.
So, hey Google, lower the cabin temperature.
Okay, turning down the temperature.
All right, so it'll do.
Just a moment.
So it'll do that, but it didn't want to have the dialogue back and forth. All right, we're gonna do a launch here. Let's go. Yeah, it really hustles.
I think so. You can give it time.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, it really throws you back in the seat.
Liberty Walk asks, how much horsepower?
402 as tested.
Kevin, yeah, that was pretty fun.
It was pretty forceful. And we're gonna take this corner quickly. You can see how stable it feels.
Yeah, it pulls hard.
Yeah, it can really generate some G's.
Yeah,
It's
Kevin,
fun, guys.
It's
This
a
is
fun car.
This is a fun car to drive. I wish there was more steering feel. There's not a lot of it, but it is fun to drive.
Yeah,
we'll have
Kevin,
more of that in my
and
test drives and drive impressions.
The brakes are really good.
The brakes are strong, for sure.
Yeah.
Strong braking, strong handling, strong acceleration.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Ethan asks, apparently the ID3 and the ID4 can never hear what you're saying. Can never hear what you're saying.
Can never hear what you're saying?
Yeah.
I tried it on the ID4. It was muddled. But I find a lot of these assistants to never really be an ideal setup. They don't always... Oh, listen to this turning signal.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that sound like tapping?
Yeah.
Or I thought it was like...
I thought it was a creak noise or something.
It's a weird turn signal sound. I don't think I've ever heard a turn signal sound like that. And you can hear it louder, of course, because the car is quiet.
Tuxedo Black Cat. Comfort-wise, it could be better.
Yeah, the seats I think could be more comfortable. They're bolstered well. They're decently padded, but man, I want the Napa leather. I really, really want that. And the ride quality is firm. This is like Volvo's.
Yeah,
Volvo
firm.
vehicles are always firm. This one's firm as well. Not overly firm for an EV, because I've found that almost every EV rides firmly. This one kind of just par for the course on that. I'm gonna pop out real quick and grab something. Folks have any other questions, you're free to answer those. It's a nice place to pull off, right?
Yeah. You guys have any more questions, please put them on the chat.
Yeah, throw them up in the chat, guys. Happy to answer those questions. And when I got up, the car
It turned off.
basically turned off the AC, turned off all that stuff. Now I'm back in, butts in the cushion, everything's back on.
Kevin, our nice Mercedes. I'm a big Mercedes fan.
Oh yeah.
He has the GOC 300.
Yeah. He told me when he was shopping for that one. Yeah, Patrick's got two or three? Two?
Three.
He's got three Mercedes, so he likes the brand, for sure.
Let's talk about the seats. Okay, Tuxedo Black Hat. My bad. Comfort-wise, he's talking about, I guess, the ride.
So yeah, the ride quality, we talked a little about that. It's on the firmer side. So it's not going to be full luxury plush riding, and it makes me think that the one with the performance pack is going to ride even firmer than this. So this is as soft as the ride's going to be in a Polestar 2, at least for right now. But it makes sense that Volvo owns Polestar, because all Volvo vehicles kind of tend to ride more firmly than their other luxury competitors.
Let's see. Ethan, let's see. I feel kind of cheap, maybe.
This one, I don't know. I kind of hacked out clicking of
Okay.
this, but there aren't many buttons. Like,
Yeah,
that's like an
it.
EV thing, right? Like, don't too many buttons. That's also the Volvo and now Polestar thing, minimalism. So there's only the defrosters, the hazards, and this volume knob, and a park button. That's it. That's your whole button setup in this vehicle. But the other materials, I think, feel pretty good. This kind of rubberized plastic here is an interesting choice. They're really making a push for sustainability. So they're going to try to use materials that are as eco-friendly as possible. That's why they went with the vegan non-leather seats. Though I would have even chosen a vegan like leather alternative instead of going with the fabric, because the fabric doesn't feel as good.
Someone asked, Icon or this?
Oh man, well the Taycan's a completely different animal. A lot more expensive. A lot more power. The range is better in certain models.
Quality, obviously.
Quality is going to be a little better, yeah. The you get that Porsche driving dynamics. I mean, if you haven't seen it, guys, go watch my curiosity about the Taycan Turbo S at the Porsche Experience Center, because that was a freaking treat. I loved that car. So, yeah, I'm gonna say Taycan over this. I love how that looks. I really like how the Taycan looks.
Car.
Yeah.
And especially that color you had was very nice.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Jamaica in the house. Hello.
What is up? Yeah, the full-on acceleration is real good, especially in the 0 to whatever, but even in the mid-range, it also packs a punch.
Ethan actually, he said he saw your videos when you hit the gas and the alien sound was insane.
Oh yeah, in the Taycan videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound like a spaceship. It's like, I'm not going to try to recreate the
sound,
noise.
yeah.
But it's a really cool sound, and I love that, and it kind of bums me out that the Polestar 2 doesn't have anything like that. I know Tesla's kind of programmed that in as an option. That's another thing that Tesla has. Got a lot more customization, ton more customization that you can do to the infotainment, to, you know, all your different settings in the car. The Polestar is pretty limited in terms of customization. You can obviously adjust how the car is driving. I'm going to take off one pedal drive, so now when I take my foot off the gas, it coasts like a normal car. It's not going to do the regen. But yeah, there's just not much customization in this.
Do you feel maybe that's just a way of trying to be different from Tesla, or?
I mean, so what I think it is them, Volvo being a more traditional manufacturer, obviously having that influence on Polestar, and there's just a different mentality. It's basically Apple versus Google, right?
Yeah.
And ironic that this is powered by Google, right? But Apple is like, let's make sure it works right, and then we'll layer on more things you can do. Whereas Google's like, no, let's like open Android. Let's open everything up and let you customize as much as you want. Things may have defects, but let's open it up to customization. So it's that kind of different mentality, I feel like, Tesla versus Polestar. Polestar being more Apple-ish and Tesla being more Google-ish.
Tuxedo Black Cat asks, what cars can this car beat? Beating them with the top speed.
Top speed is only 125. So EVs, their strength is not top speed typically. So I'm gonna say that the vehicles it'll beat are your average Toyota Corollas, and a lot of vehicles can do 100 miles an hour these days. So this is not going to beat that many with the 125 top speed.
Let's see. Kevin R asks, would you choose the GLC 300 coupe or SUV?
I always kind of tend to choose the traditional SUV shape just for the added practicality. I don't love SUV coupes. There's only a couple I think I really like. I love the shape of the Cayenne coupe. That one looks pretty cool. Other SUV coupes I like the Audi RSQ8 and the Q8. I like how that looks. That's kind of it for coupe design SUVs that I really appreciate. So I always would kind of gravitate towards the SUV body style.
Denmark for all asks, remember to show the tricks. Say there's a little hook in the glove box that can be flip side so the back can hang.
Yeah, so that may be on the Polestar vehicles as well. So it's this hook. Yeah, it is. So this hook here, you can attach a bag to that.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty neat.
That's cool. And then also said the trunk has a foot sensor as well. So.
Yeah, it does. It has a hands-free sensor, but the car was unlocked and I was close to it, so I couldn't really show the hands-free. I do show that in my drive impressions video though, guys, so you'll want to see that. Wireless charging in here, 2 USB-C ports, and you got 2 more in the back. The Harman Kardon Premium sound system sounds okay. Not much storage in the glove box. You got 2 cup holders effectively.
I'm not sure. Does it feel? I think should feel pretty strong.
Yeah,
maybe not heavy, but
I mean, I wouldn't like pack a 40-pound bag on there, but I would say 20 pounds, you should be fine. They probably list a weight limit somewhere in the car.
Let's see. Guys, any more questions? I think we might be wrapping it up pretty soon.
All right, we'll check out for now. But guys, thank you so much for joining. Those who are tuned in live, and again, look for all the POV videos that we have coming for this: the test drive, the night drive, and the drive impressions. And we'll have another live Q&A for you next week. And until then, have a great rest of your weekend wherever you are on this beautiful planet of ours. See you guys next time. And thanks, Patrick, again for operating the camera.
No problem. Kevin, thank you for the questions. See you next weekend.